You could just like take them and like make it rain. If you want to learn 50 plus ways to use your Tombow markers, stay tuned because we're starting right now. What's up guys, it's Kim. Welcome back to Kim Perfect Plans. If you're new here, hi, welcome. If you like a little bit of humor on the side of your bullet journal videos, then you're in the right spot. Hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. This video is like a year in the making. I've been dying to do this for a long time because there are so many different techniques and just different things that you can do with your Tombow markers. In case you guys don't know this about me, I try to make my bullet journal videos a little bit humorous. I think that's something that's kind of lacking in the bullet journal community. You know, just adding a little bit of humor to this bullet journal fad. It's kind of my thing, so I don't mind if I throw a couple randoms in there like the intro. It's all in good fun. But for the most part, I want this to be an educational video and I want you guys to actually learn something from it. Indirect blending, direct blending, coloring, watercoloring, all with your Tombow markers. They are amazing. Let's get into the video. I don't want a super long intro because I got 50 things to go over. Let's do this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, first things first, this is a Tombow marker. Now, Tombow dual brush pens come in many different expensive colors and sizes. I'm sorry, I meant to say just different sizes and colors. So the first thing you're going to need to do before we can get into any of this is going to be number one on the list, and that is use your life savings to buy them all. Like, literally all of them. And when you think you just, need a little bit more, go buy like 2 more packs. And when you finally think you have enough, go buy 1 more. And then Tombow's going to come out with 4 more packs and you're going to need to buy all those too. So, yeah, there's that. And so now that you've completed number 1, let's move on to number 2. This was inspired by my best friend Carrie, so I want to thank you. Now what she does is she still keeps all of hers in the original packages that they came in. It's easier to store that way, she says, but I have a little tip for you guys. Alright, so for those of you that are like my friend Carrie, because I know there's a lot of you, because I was the same way, like I could not let go of the cases that they came in. They were really convenient because they were nice and flat. You could see them all color-coded and whatnot. But let me ask you this. How many of you that still keep them in the cases actually use every single color Tombow you own every time you open your bullet journal? If your answer is yeah, then go ahead, by all means keep them in the packs as long as you want. But if your answer is no, which most likely it is, because who uses like all these colors every single day, just pick, a color scheme like every month, and just keep those colors with you at all time, or whatever you're going to be working on for that day. You don't need every single one you own with you every time you bullet journal. And you don't, just think about it ahead of time. Like, get you a nice little pencil case. And I tell you what, make the best pencil cases, makeup bags, okay? This one right here is my favorite. I keep the 5 colors that I use every month. I just pick 5. Then I have all my zebra in here, and then my little fine liners. These are just everything that I fill out my habit tracker, mood tracker, everything that I need to everyday bougie with goes in here. I know that they're really big markers, but a lot of makeup bags will fit them, and they look like pencil cases. Like this already has almost 200 colored pencils in it, and you can barely tell. And I can just like throw a bunch of Tombows in here like it ain't nothing. I'm telling you, you can find them. And just to prove you guys that you can, I went on a little shopping spree today. Got this for literally $2. So, just saying, it can be done. Don't lug them all around with you. The cases, it's more of a hassle than it's worth. Pick a few colors for your monthly color, whatever matches your theme. Stick that in your pencil case and be done with it. For the rest of the time, get you a cute little vase, however you say it, and then just keep them in something circular like this. That way you can see them all, color code them however you like. You know what I mean? But don't. It just seems so much more now, like looking back at it, it was such more of a hassle, like having to like put them back perfectly in the case every time and then close it out. No. Store your shit. Alright guys, it's time to get serious now. All jokes aside, let's do some serious Tombowing. So I'm going to start with black. We're going to start off nice and simple for you with a basic black. We're going to start with basic lettering. That's right. You draw with these. Oh my god, this pen is so frayed, I can't even deal. So, instead, when they start looking like this, buy new ones. Okay, so you're gonna need to go spend another $5 on a new one now. You're welcome. Lettering, there we go. That's how you know that they're nice and new. They have that nice sound. They allow you to get the light upstrokes and the heavy downstrokes, which is all, that's what calligraphy is all about. Just as a general practice to sort of get used to it, I would just do this, and then heavy, light, and then heavy, light, and then heavy. They just kind of keep doing that over and over until you feel like you're somewhat comfortable, and then you're still not ready to actually do calligraphy that looks like not shit. Now that you know that you can draw and letter with these, now we're gonna do some fun lettering patterns. Alright, I went and got a brand new black Tombow marker just for you guys. Alright, so right now we're doing number 7. This is patterns that you could do with your Tombow markers. Now I'm just going to be starting with black first off because there's going to be a lot of different things we're going to do with colors. So we're going to start with black first off, and the first pattern I'm going to show you is lines. So as you can see, I am basically just adding some lines in different parts of the word to sort of add dimension to it and kind of give it a little bit of a 3D feel. And now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my white Uniball Gel Signo pen here. These are amazing. They're absolutely the best to write on probably literally any color, but especially black and especially Tombows. They just work really well. They write really well on it. So the first thing you need to do though is always make sure that like it's running, because they kind of come out a little funny and they don't always come out very evenly. So like test the white pen out first. And since I was doing lines on the outside of the word, I am just going to be making small little lines on the inside of the word, and that is it. So I'll speed this up for you. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you kind of get a better idea of the patterns that I'm doing, just to help you see a little bit better, because after this one we are going to move on to dot pattern. You may see me switching back and forth from a watercolor paper to this Rhodia dot grid notebook. I'm just trying a couple different things to see what looks better. So now we're doing the dots, and if you'll notice, I'm actually using the other end of the brush pen. Remember guys, these are dual tipped brush pens. Do not neglect your other tip. Just don't do it, okay? You can't do it to them. You can't do it to him, all right? They need love too, all right? Obviously, if I am doing dots around the outside of the word, I'm going to be using my white gel pen to do the little dots on the inside of the word. And you can do this with so many different things. All right, and this is going to be the last of the basic lettering patterns that you can do on dark black style Tombow lettering, and that is stars. Super easy. Again, I want to keep it easy as we are starting this off, and also super cute. Doesn't require a lot of skill, honestly, because I mean I'm doing it, so clearly it can't require that much talent. So you just put little stars on the inside with your white pen as well. Can't recommend these white gel pens enough. You can do so much with them. Alright y'all, it's time to get fancy now. Some people call this 3D lettering. Basically, it's just adding an outline to part of the word that you're lettering. And there's a few different ways that you can actually do this, and I'm going to show you that. So generally, you want to start by getting your one of your thinnest black fine liners. I'm using the Pigma Micron 005. Basically, the key to this whole thing is just figuring out lettering shadows. Typically, you just pick one side, the right or the left, either one works. You can actually do the top or the bottom as well, but baby steps, people, baby steps. So you pick your side and then you just carefully trace along that side and only that side, not using too thick of a pen. Honestly, to me, just outlining it adds so much personality and just depth and dimension to it already, but we're going to get real fancy here. So the next thing you want to do is you want to get a color that's darker than whatever color you're using to letter with. So most people use grays. Grays work with literally anything. It's kind of a rule of thumb, you know, gray marker can just do wonders. But I am going to actually use a dark green since I'm using a lighter green to letter with. I just kind of wanted to play around, and like I said, feel free to experiment, you know what I mean? These are all just things that I found on Pinterest and stuff that I've learned along the ways and of my, you know, along this past crazy ride of a year of bougeoing. Alright, so here I am going in with the darker, and as you can see, I'm using the other end of the pen on this letter right here, or I'm sorry, on this word, to do the dark outline, because you don't want it to get too messy. You don't want it to stray too far away from that black outline. I swear to God, 3D lettering is so cool. It's like literally magical almost. That just gave me a light bulb. Expelliarmus! They're like the same size of a wand. That's how big they are. And they're magical. Remember how I said you just pick one side? This is kind of what I was referring to. So you'll notice that I only did the outline on the right side. And that's kind of how it works. You just pick a side and it will literally still have the same effect if you pick the left side or the right side, or if you just do the top or just the bottom. Either way, it's gonna give you that same type of effect that you're looking for. Just sort of keep in mind that you can always add white gel pens to literally anything to just add even more to it. Alright, so for this final word here, I'm just adding a little bit more depth and dimension by just making the outline color a little bit thicker. And also, this one, after you do the outline, whether it be gray or green, you do it again with your black fine liner. And as you can kind of see, every layer that I'm adding just adds more dimension and makes it look more 3D. So basically for everything that I show you, there's going to be 10 more ways to do the same thing, but just different variations. So every pattern I show you, there's 10 more other patterns. Every style or technique, there's 10 more others just like it. But I don't want to spend too much time harping on just one thing, like just all these different types of ways to 3D letter. You know what I mean? I kind of really want to just jump on into my favorite. Just do you. Just know that there's a lot out there, okay? This video would be days long, and I don't have days long. Like I said, I really want to get into showing you my personal favorites. But before we do that, we have to go over, well, we have to have a talk, and it's about blending. Because we are blending. Have you guys ever seen Blended? No? No? Just me? Oh, okay. Well, there's actually quite a few ways so you can blend. There is direct blending, which is just a fancy way of saying drawing on paper directly. Alright, so we're going to start off with our first method of direct blending, and that is the 2-color method. I use this one a lot in my Plan With Me videos, you'll probably notice. So you start with a lighter color. That's always going to be your base color for whatever word you're doing. I seem to always gravitate towards the word hello. I'm not sure why, it's just like my comfort word, I guess. Alright, so you draw the word with your lighter color, then pick the darker color, put it at either the top or the bottom. I'm using the bottom for right now. And then you're going to take your Tombow clear colorless blender and just blend that dark color upwards, and it's going to blend and sort of make the whole lettering just different. As you see, it's sort of bringing the dark color up a bit, kind of zooming in so you can see it a little bit better. And you can even add it a little bit if you want. I do this just for effect. Add another little layer of the dark lettering at the end after it's all blended, just to make it really pop. And Again, these magical white gel pens, I'm telling you, they can do so much. If you just take a little white gel pen and put a little line down the middle, it just adds something special to it, I feel. And I just love the look of it. There's so many things you could do with these white gel pens. I just love it. So this next one we're going to do here is, again, another variation of the same thing, but I did choose the new word this time. Alright, so I am pretty much just starting at the top now instead of the bottom, just so you guys can see that it can be done both ways, and I am using 3 colors instead of 2. So again, you start with your base light color and then put the darker color at the top or the bottom, however you want to do it. You're going to want to add the second darkest color, and make sure that you sort of, when you draw them in, that it's not just a straight line, that you're feathering it. That way it can really blend. Alright, so real quick, I want to also show you that it doesn't have to be calligraphy that you're doing. It doesn't have to be super fancy lettering. I picked like the most simplest block lettering. I wrote it so super fast. Obviously, you're probably going to want to take a little more time on it than this. But just to show you, it doesn't have to be calligraphy, because not everyone can do calligraphy. I can barely do calligraphy, and I've been doing it for a year. It's not the easiest thing. But this is how easy it is, you know, just do block lettering. Pick 3 similar colors. I picked red, orange, and yellow. And when you see me blend them all together, you're going to see that they really all just become a nice, like, blended orangey color. And it looks so super cool. And again, you just use your blending brush and just sort of blend down, because when you're doing this on paper, you don't want to go back and forth too much, because it will absolutely rip your bullet journal. So you don't want to do that. Plus, look how perfect that looks with just a couple little downstrokes. All right, ladies, hold on to your panties for this one. This one's gonna literally scare the crap out of you. So this is the last way that we're gonna do direct blending. You're gonna get 2 colors that are completely opposite. I have yellow and red here. And what I'm going to do is I am literally going to color the yellow marker with the red marker directly on the Tombow. I know, it's freaking you out. It's freaking me out just looking at it, but I promise I've done this before. And yes, it probably will stain your pen, but it will not write with that color. As soon as you are done writing out the word, it is going to be gone, and you will have your normal yellow back, I promise. So once you color the pen as much around the edges as you can, you are just going to start to letter. So I am going to go and write the word blend. So as you can see, it's starting off like very dark, kind of orangey, because I added all that red to it. And as I go on, it's just going to get lighter and lighter until all of the red is gone, and it's just the normal yellow color that I started with. So I was originally just going to write the word blend, but it wasn't quite long enough to get out all of that red. So I decided to make it the word blending, and to get all that red out, just to show you, you just kind of swatch your pen over and over again. And there's indirect blending, where you actually use the Tombow blending palette kit. Okay, so this is another one of my absolute favorite ways to blend. This is indirect blending using the blending palette. Now you're going to get a lighter color and a darker color, and this is going to give it a real cool ombre looking effect. So pick the darker color. You can pick any 2 colors you want, really. I just like pink and purple together. So you pick the purple and make a little swatch of it on your blending palette. Now I'm just doing a quick little, so showing you what the pink actually looks like before you do this. Then you just take the pink right in there and kind of just rub it in back and forth. It's a little bit nerve-wracking at first, not gonna lie to you, kind of like coloring on your Tombow, because as you can see, it's just covered with purple. But again, it's all gonna be gone by the time you're done blending this word. So next thing you're gonna do is just start to letter, and that's it. And it's just going to come out ombre. It's gonna start super dark purple, and then it's gonna end pink. So as you can see, as I start to letter, it's already starting to get lighter and lighter and lighter. Okay, so for this next method, I am actually going to show you how you can mix 2 different colors on your blending palette and create a new color, and then letter with that. I'm telling you, these things are just magical. There's so many things you can do. Mix any colors you want, literally. So I am just picking blue and pink, so I can make a nice pretty purple. Ooh, look at that. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use my Colorless Blender, and write a word. But first, I had to get all that extra purple out. So again, just swatch, 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 and it's gone. You don't have to worry. It's not going to stay on your pen, I promise. It might stain the color of your pen, but your pen will remain the same color, I promise. I've done this a bunch of times. All right, so you grab your blender. I always test mine out to make sure there's no previous color on it already. And then just stick it right in that new color that you created, and then just start to letter. Now, the one thing with these blending, the blending pen here is that they are not quite the same brush pen, it feels like, as the other Tombows, probably just because it's the blending pen, so it's a little bit harder to get those super thick downstrokes that you need, but you can still use it to do a lot of different things. You don't have to just letter, you know what I mean? You can color, and that's actually going to be one of the next things I'm going to show you. So for the entire month of April, I actually did these really cute, like watercolor looking clouds. And this is how I first learned of how you could really, all the different ways you could use your Tombows and the ways you could make them kind of appear almost watercolory. Because when you pick them up with the Colorless Blender, they do not appear as vivid and bright as they actually are. It makes them look, you know, subdued and pretty and subtle, kind of like watercolory, like, because they are water-based markers, you have to remember.
I think I hear the ocean.
So you can actually watercolor with these. I'm going to show you that in a little bit. So this is how I did my clouds. I picked 3 colors, blue, purple, and pink. And then I am just going to kind of be picking each color up as I go and then sort of just blending it into the cloud. So I always start with the blue because it's the color that's going to be most prevalent in the clouds usually. But I always like to put purples and pinks in there. I think it makes them look real pretty. You can just kind of play around with placement, kind of place it wherever you want, because the Colorless Blender makes it so you can just blend all the colors together and they're all gonna really look cool. And again, this one came out great, just like all of my month of April. All right, next up we're doing watercolor lettering. So this with just one color by using the watercolor brush and sticking it in the color. You could do it with 2 colors and blend it that way, but I am actually gonna show you one of my favorites, and that is blending 3 different colors. I did this for the month of September and actually October in both of my Play With Me videos. So you just pick 3 different color swatches and then you stick your watercolor brush right in each one. And you just go a little bit down the ways, because remember you have to stick 2 more colors in each letter. All right, so then after that I'm gonna have to wipe my watercolor brush and make sure all that color is off. Then pick up the next color, which is gonna be my pink. And then the last one will be my blue. I'm just writing the word September just because I'm not used to this super spiffy, fancy lettering here. So this is kind of one of the ones that I just remembered like off my head. So that's the one that I decided to go with. And then just for the sake of time, I'm not even gonna write out September. I'm just gonna write out Sep, just so you guys can get an idea of how cool this looks and how you can blend them together and just all the fun things you can do. I don't usually pick colors this different. I usually pick 3 of the same color, but in 3 different tones. Not really sure why I didn't do that, but it does make it a little bit easier as far as blending, because you don't have to get so much color out each time since they're all going to be virtually the same color, just in different tones. And then of course there's my daughter's favorite method, which is literally picking any surface and coloring on it with anything you want. Coffee tables, walls, whatever, you know? She's pretty much a pioneer. Right, so I know some of you are sitting at home thinking, but I don't have a blending palette, it's like $9, what do I do? Never fear, because you can literally use a plastic bag or any plastic surface and get the same exact results. I once used the cover of my hotcakes from McDonald's, so get inventive, people. Literally any plastic surface will do. So just to demonstrate, I just took a little swatch, put it on the plastic bag, and picking it up with the Colorless Blender to show you how easy it is. I'm going to do a super simple sort of sunset background. I remember when I was really first learning how to watercolor with these, one of the first things I wanted to learn how to do was like skies, sunsets, galaxies, super easy things like that that are going to look really cool. And this I actually did for my entire month of June, was a pretty sunset background, and then put a black palm tree in the middle, and I'm going to show you how to do both of those right now. Alright, so the way that you're going to do this is you're going to pick the colors that you want in your sunset, I just picked orange, yellow, purple, pink, sort of sunsetty colors. Make a swatch of each of them on the blending palette, and then you're just going to use the watercolor brush and sort of just do each layer as you go. So I will speed this up a little bit for you to speed up the process. All right, so as you can see, I am just starting with one of the darker colors, the purple, and you can kind of mix this up however you want. You can do this however you want to do it. You don't have to pick the same colors. You don't have to put them in the same order. It's going to give you the same effect, but this is just one of the ways that I like to do it. I started with the pink, the purple, move on to the orange, the yellow. Sometimes I'll mix it up and start with the orange and then the yellow and darker. It just all depends on how you want to do it. And since we're already here, I might as well show you how to do these nifty little palm trees. I learned this from Imprint, and honestly these dual brush pens are the absolute perfect tool to make the perfect palm tree. Did this for the whole month of June, loved it. Alright, so now I'm going to show you the same thing, the same simple watercolor sunset looking background, but this time, as you can see, I have my water out and an actual watercolor brush. So you do not have to use the watercolor brushes. I don't always have the best luck with them. They don't always handle the best for me. So sometimes it's just easier for me to actually get a nice real paintbrush in my hand. You know, you can never go wrong with a real paintbrush. So you literally just do the same thing. Make the swatches, but this time you just take your brush, stick it in the water, and then stick it in the swatch, and then just do it exactly as I showed you before. So super easy. What I really love about this is it doesn't get the pages super wet like when you're using real watercolors. So it's really good for bullet journaling. Alright, so before I even start the next one, I gotta give a big shout out to Better Lettering for helping me come up with this and helping me realize that you could even do this. It's pretty friggin' awesome. So the first thing you want to do is tape the paper down. I'm actually using actual watercolor paper here. This is Kansan, just regular Kansan watercolor paper. It's like 10 bucks, super cheap. The reason you want to use washi tape so you have a nice even border is because it comes up really easily, unlike scotch tape. It doesn't stick to the paper. And also you want to tape the paper down because this is watercolor. We're watercoloring, it's going to want to wrinkle the paper up. So when you tape it down, it really just kind of gives it a lot of control and keeps it still. So you're going to get the best result if you do it this way. All right, so let's just get on into it. We're doing beautiful watercolor backgrounds here today, people. All right, so I just picked 3 colors, purple, a pink, and then a lighter pink. Now you can do this for bookmarks. You can do this for greeting cards. You could do this for gift tags. You could literally do this for so many things. And after this, I'm going to show you a quick little illustration that you can do on it, but that's not the only thing you can do with these awesome watercolor backgrounds. That's the great thing about them. They're so versatile. So you could do, you know, drawings on them. You can do lettering on them. You can, you know, do whatever the heck you want. It's really pretty freaking cool. So this is definitely a Kim favorite, I got to say. And it's super easy. It's definitely one of the easiest methods that I'm going to show you in this entire video. So literally all you do is, and you can do this with any colors. I'm just doing this one color scheme for now, but you can pick blues, you can pick any color, and it will still give you the same look. But the only thing I want to recommend is that you do use watercolor paper. And I'm just using a Sakura Koi watercolor brush that came with my little handheld set. They have Pentel Aquash or Aquash watercolor brushes, whatever you prefer. And you're really not even pushing down on the brush that much. I'm really not even pushing that much water out. I am a little bit, but not a lot. And this is where you're going to cover up those little white spots that you left behind when you were coloring. And it just comes out so cool. You're going to let it dry after this, and then we're going to go in and add some cute little drawings to it and really make it pop. So as you can see, once you start to pull off the washi tape, it just comes off super easily, doesn't rip the paper, and you have a nice clean border. So like I said, this can be used for multiple different things. I don't want to show each one just because it's going to make this video extra long. So I'm going to show you one of mine, which is also the one that she put in her video. I just think it's kind of cool to combine all these awesome Tombow tutorials that I found into this one video. So basically, she's just making little buildings by just doing little triangular shapes, and then you take your white gel pen and then go in and add some stars and add some little dots inside the houses to kind of make them look like windows. It's not gonna record my entire filming because I ran out of storage. Oops. But it's gonna catch most of it and you're gonna get the gist. And then I'll show you a quick picture afterwards so you can see the final product and see how easy it is. Because trust me, I'm not an artist. So if I can do this, literally anyone can. Okay, so right here is where we're gonna use the white gel pen for the little windows. And for the stars, you literally can just do dots. You can also do little asterisks. You can do a couple different things to make the stars. And here is the final product. Alright, next up I am going to show you how to do a galaxy. This is another one of the things that I wanted to learn right away as soon as I learned how to watercolor with these, was how to do one of these awesome galaxies I kept seeing. And this is the first way that I learned, and I'm telling you, watercolor paper makes all the difference in the world. And so does taping it down, because the first time I did this, I was just tearing the paper. It looked like absolute garbage, and I'm like, this looks nothing like the video I watched, and I did it exactly the same way. I don't get it. So, and I'm only using, you know, the cheap cans and watercolor paper, not the nice, expensive arches. So just consider that when using your paper or doing this in your bullet journal. Sometimes it is worth it to put it on a piece of watercolor paper and then cut it out. So I'm basically just putting a bunch of random colors together that kind of mimic the galaxy, and then you're just going to take your watercolor brush and just kind of go in ham, and that's when that circular outline is really going to come in handy. You didn't want to color everything in because you really want to blend these colors together and really make it look very milky, like a galaxy. As you can see, the more and more color I add and the more water I add, the more and more it blends the colors together, and the more you kind of start to see the finished product. And again, the only thing you need to do to this is just let it dry and add white dots with your white gel pen. Added effect, you can also take your watercolor brush and drop a couple of drops of water on the top. Ooh, that was a long one, and I'm gonna have to do a part 2 because I didn't even get to everything I wanted to get to, so stay tuned because I will have that one coming at some point in the future of time. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all on next Wednesday. Bye.